I did not realize that you can quite literally draw a direct line from Prince to Michael Jackson, to Ye, and then now to Justin Bieber and the things that they have been saying and what they are trying to do. Now, I did not grow up in a Prince household beyond a couple of his major hits, namely Raspberry Beret and When Doves Cry. So when he died on April 21st of 2016, at the very young age of 57, I did not venture to look beyond the media headlines in terms of that story. Well, I'm just learning he was constantly at war with the executives at the record labels. And I want to show you this clip of him discussing how he viewed record labels. This is from 2004. Take a listen.
Ever since my third album, I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. So the way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work. I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. That said, the companies felt otherwise. And they would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it. And I say, well, I understand that. It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair. Of course, they wouldn't change, because if they change, they wouldn't really exist. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship, right?
Actually such an interesting point that I had never even thought of. Like, how do the record labels just decide they own your voice? They should be operating like FedEx. Like, we can distribute your music, but you don't own the thing that you are distributing, similar to FedEx. He also discussed very early on something that we now know to be quite intentional when we think about the MKUltra program, but just the degeneration of music over time. Like, people were playing instruments, people had these nice themes that they were singing about, and suddenly there was this radical shift, and music has become increasingly more raunchy and more pornographic. Well, he was early to that game, and here's what he had to say to MTV News about that degeneration. Take a listen.
What was it that you were listening to in music today that made you say, I've got to put some more stuff out there? You have to do this.
Mainly I sensed a great deal of negativity and entropy in the music. There's a disintegration going on that we really have to address. Our values have been lessened to a great degree. VH1's been pretty cool. They don't show too much craziness on their channel, but other Viacom channels do. So I think that we should address this as a community as to what it's doing to the culture. People can say all they want to, that there's no reason for these kids to listen to music and then go shoot somebody. But, there's something that's triggering these buttons.
Just incredible, because like I'm just telling you, this is the first time that I've ever heard this, because I didn't follow Prince in his musical career. And I just can't believe that he was having this exact same discussion that we know Michael Jackson was having and then Ye was having. And just to show this to you again, I know I showed it to you on Thursday. Let's just listen to what Michael Jackson was saying about these same record labels.
Record companies really, really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Sony, Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish.
Here is Ye and what he had to say in 2022.
We can't just say, oh, it's okay for people to super complicate deals and to collude on deals and to not look at us as human beings, as artists and athletes and actors, that we have to be willing to stand up for that to be able to change something. And we need to come together as a society to be the first civilization that actually became civil.
Gosh, it all sounds so reasonable, right? When you hear it like that, but that's not what the media tells us about these people. I mean, when you start speaking like that as an artist or as a podcaster or as somebody who's within any kind of contract, suddenly the media comes down on you hard. And like we said, wacko dacko. Here's a collage of some headlines. Here's Justin Bieber, a recent collage of the headlines that are coming at him right now. And I think the message is pretty clear. If they cannot control you, they will ruin you. So I started thinking over this weekend, what if we just stopped for 1 second accusing all of these artists of being crazy and instead we started actually investigating some of the things that they've been saying?
When it comes to this whole record label and entertainment industry, it's always way more complicated than people make it to be. First, let me say this, right? I believe in fairness. I believe in treating people the correct way. Maybe there's nothing like the correct way anyway. But I believe that if we are in a transaction, we all should get something. But let me just say this. We have the biggest entertainment country in Africa, which is Nigeria, and they have a lot of artists, right? So occasionally you will hear instances of where people are angry at their labor company for cheating them. And they will be like, oh my God, I did this and I only got this. I was supposed to get this, but I only got this. The record companies are using me. The producers are taking everything away from me. I am working so hard, but I get little to nothing. I understand all this argument. But the one thing I want most people to understand is that when it comes to these record companies and the transaction they do, those companies have invested a lot in you. Some of them found you when you were nobody and they clean you up. They polish you. They transform you into what you are today. Now, they did not give you a voice to sing, or they did not give you a talent to sing or to write music, but they shaped the talent you already had. Most of the times, without them, believe me, you will be nobody. They opened up the way for you. They brought you into the limelight. They shine the spotlight on you. People came to know about you through their effort. Millions were spent on you. And all this was done without any guarantee of making any profit. When they were spending all this money on you, they did so without any guarantee they were going to get their investment back. Believe it or not, in every case, when you have 4 to 5 artists being signed by a record company, more often they will be lucky to have 2 successful artists out of every 5 or 6. Sometimes they will have none. Okay, most of the times they might have one, but they'll be highly fortunate to have 2 or 3 successful artists. And remember, those 6 artists they sign, they've all pour money on them. But as the universe works, most of the times people don't succeed or the artists don't succeed. And so whoever that succeed, the record companies will try their best to make some profit or even get back all their investments on those ones who failed. That is just how the business works. Secondly, I hate people who benefited from something, turn around, and then poison the world. I hate people who were begging you to help them, to assist them, to work with them, to collaborate with them. And after you did so, turn around and start saying nasty things against you. Now, I'm not saying that the record companies are angels. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is those record companies are out there to make money. They want to make money. Their whole being is to make profit. And according to them, from their own point of view, you are their business. You are their product. And if they have a means to squeeze all the juice out of you, they will do so. By nature, they have to survive. What you have to do is not to blame them, but to remember what their whole purpose is and to protect yourself from them. When you come in from the very beginning, you should understand who they are and what they do. And if you cannot stomach what they do, don't put yourself in their presence. Remove yourself from their presence. Do not take their contract. Do not take their help. Do not use their connections. Don't use their services. Do it all by yourself and see how far you can go. That is what I think. Because people will come from nowhere. People whom nobody knew them. People who were just singing in the street and not making anything for themselves will be fortunate enough to have someone who is willing to invest in them. And remember, investing in them is taking a huge risk. You can never tell how these things turn out. You can never tell. Some of them might turn out to be well, others not so much. So when they meet you, when they have nothing, they pretended to be all humble and obedient and talk nicely. They have sugar in their tongue and they talk like angels. And you help them, you polish them, you bring them into the limelight, you use your connection to create exposure that they need. And then they become very successful. Everyone now know their names. And what do they do? Rather than appreciating you and being grateful for everything you've done to them, what do? They start blaming you. They start calling you names. They start saying you cheated them. They start saying you did this, you did that. That's what they start saying. People like that, I really, really hate. Because I think they are very, very toxic. Before you get into any contract, read it well. Before you ask people for their help, ask them what they want from you in return. Before you go to a labor company and let them start spraying their resources on you, make sure you understand what you will have to give away to them. And make sure you are willing to give it away. If you are not, don't get involved with them. But the last thing I want to say is, in as much as the labor company do a lot for their artists, I think they should make it in such a way that the whole transaction is fair for both parties. I think if the thing is fair enough and everyone is happy, not even happy, but just okay with the deal, it will be a lot more better than when one party is all disgruntled and the other party is just making so much profit.